I read the book by Gail Godwin named Evenings at 5. The book is basically about a man and woman who was married for years. What they're professional people. Gail. Christina is the wife, and Rudy is the husband. And Rudy is a composer, and Christina is an author. Gail Godwin, the author of the book, she also won awards for literature. And she has a book called Me and My Two Daughters. And back to the book. Christina and Rudy always have these little mixtures, like cocktails at 5 in the evening, and see how their day went. Mostly he's interested in seeing how Christina's day went, as being a good husband. And Christina and as Christina would say, Rudy's not listening to her. As Rudy would say, Christina's not listening to him, but Christina, who's an author, had like 2 or 3 books and stuff like that. Where Rudy is a composer, he has thousands of music out there. So it would be kind of hard for her to, concentrate on how he's been doing. They have these cocktails, mostly to me, it's like before they even eat dinner. They have these little mixers, and one drink called Digonda, Digonda, and that's a mixer. And they got these little fancy knives to, slice the limes and everything. They also have friends who are professional. And what happened, somehow they got to talking about burial plots. And one of the friends said, well, we have a burial site just for artists. And Christina and Rudy seemed interested in it. And they talked to the realtor who helped them buy this house. They started out small, little table and chair, and they bought this modest house. Didn't know you didn't have to put everything down on it. They bought this model house, and they mostly worked on their composing and writing. They had some friends. The Pope would call them every day at 5 to see how they doing, see what Rudy was doing, and how things was coming along with them. They even have friends that does things at 5. I really didn't realize that a lot of people had, a ritual at 5 o'clock until I read this book. It was a good book, and I learned a lot from it. And Rudy, who was sitting in a chair with Christina, as a concerned husband, all her thoughts and things, how her day went, what her day was like, and stuff like that. And they just sit comfortably in these 2 chairs and talk. Unfortunately, I wanted to say this for you to read the book. Rudy passes away. Rudy's in his 70s, and Christina is left alone in this house. And she talks to Rudy, talks to the chair. I should have went to see you before I went to church. And my thing about reading the book, why didn't you go see him first and then go to church? But Rudy passes away, and Christina talking about Rudy, talking to the chair to Rudy, as if Rudy was there. And she signaled Rudy to come back in the chair and talk to her and be with her. Christina, friends come by and said, we'll see you at 5. We light the candles for every day. For a week, and we light the candles in memory of Rudy. The Pope, doesn't call anymore, but her friends call at 5, and they come by at 5. They had other, they went to a dinner party at one of their neighbors, at one of their friends' house, and she was a sculptor. And the sculptures, she was more like, she had a son. And the son was confused because the son didn't know who his father was, and the mother wasn't sure. And by the time the woman went into the senior citizen home, she was 80. And she finally told the son, I'm not sure who your father was, but you turned, but it was all in all that I told you that as a sculptress, I would measure my belly with you in there and, break the sculptures and stuff like that. So Christina's still talking to Rudy at this time, and and she's kind of sad because she always said, "Well, I should have listened to you, and listen more to you, and be more attentive to you." And she really misses her husband. They had a lot of friends all over, Paris, York. They went to one cocktail party where the people saw them together walking along. They knew these two was madly in love, romantically in love, just seeing them walk together. Christina decided to take a few drinks, and then it was more drinks, and she wound up in the hospital. Going to the doctor. As a professional, her doctor said, "Don't drink alone. Drink with friends." And she couldn't sleep, and the doctor prescribed medicine to her. She went on to she stopped drinking, trying to null the pain. So she started visiting her friends. Somebody called her, a student called her from her husband's class, and said he was a great man. He learned a lot from him, and he said his regrets even though it was late. And that's just how the book went. I thought it was a good story because I never knew that so many things went on at 5 o'clock. I just knew that was dinner, but these people would have cocktails, and I think half the time they didn't even eat dinner. But it was a nice reading. That's my first book in almost in a year. I love reading Gail Godwin's story. It was more like, I didn't like the part where the husband passed away, but I was so deep into it that I had to finish the book and see how she worked out. And Christina did come to terms with his passing away, and he was a good husband to her, and she still has his music, to live by. And at the end she started writing another book, and that's my story.